Hi there, trumpets. Today we're going to be getting into our music and learning more about how we read music and the notes in our book. So you're going to need your Songs for Mastery book and a pencil. So make sure you have both of those things and we'll get started. As we look more closely here at the first page of our music, you'll see that this top line we have three notes. There's a note right here, there's a note right here, and there's a note right here. There's 5 lines that are horizontal, and those are called the staff. That's what helps us kind of know where the notes are. And you can see how this note is a little bit higher on the staff than this note is. So this one's on the bottom line, this one is below the bottom line. This note we had to add a new line because it was so low. We have a treble clef here at the beginning. We have measure bar lines right here that divide up our measures. So each note here is in its own separate measure. A measure is a group of one note or a group of notes that are set off. So this is measure 1, measure 2 with a number here, measure 3, and then you can see the measure number right here. Down here we have our fingering. So this is a diagram of your trumpet. This is the bell, this is the mouthpiece here. So here you can see this note uses our first and second valve, the 2 valves closest to our mouthpiece. This one uses our first and our third valve. And this one uses no valves, so we don't press anything down. So the black dot means you're pressing the button down. So this note is E, this note is D, this note is C. So let's take a minute to write E, D, and C above those notes. So this is what it should look like here, E, and then D, and then C. Now, on your trumpet, the note E is first and second valve, so these 2 valves closest to you here, and it's kind of a medium note. Not too high, not too low. Play that note and match my sound. If your note's coming out too low, bring the pitch up by bringing your lips a little closer together. If your note's coming out too high, open your mouth a little bit more, relax your throat like you're saying ah to match my sound. One more time, this is E. Our second note is D, first valve and third valve. We use our third finger to press it. We don't move our middle finger over. The middle finger only works the middle button. So we use our first and our third finger for D. Match my sound, not too high, not too low, make it match me. And then our third note is C, and it's the low note that's open. So try it again, E. Now play ta 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 on E. Try it again, make sure your tongue is moving inside your mouth. Ta 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 ta. Do the same thing now with D. And then the same thing on C. So those are the 3 notes we're going to be using on this page today. Okay? Now let's continue on our page. As we go down onto the next line, we're going to have some patterns of notes. So here again, we have a staff with our 5 lines going across here. We have our treble clef at the beginning of our staff. We have our bar lines ending our measures. We have our measure numbers, measure 4, 5, and 6. And then we have some notes. So you see here, this measure has 3 notes in it. This measure also has 3 notes in it. This measure only has 2 notes in it. And when we look at these notes, these ones were open circles and these ones are closed circles. But what we're concerned about is the position of the note relative to the staff. So the location of the note on these 5 lines is what tells us what note it is. And so when we look at this dot, we say, well, which dot here is in the same place? Oh, that's in the same place as E. So this first note here is an E. Now the second note is in a different place than this one. So we say, well, it's not an E. Oh, that's a D. And the third note, we say, oh, that's a C. Okay, so this is E, and then D, and then C. It's a matching game. You're just matching up the dots, matching their locations. Here, this note is a C, because it matches the C here. This second note, oh, it matches D, so that's a D. Third note matches E. We're just matching. And then here we have a C and then an E. So as we go through this, we're just matching up these dots with the dots here at the top. So we have E, D, C, C, D, E, and then C, and then E. Let's write that down. This is what it should look like here. So that's how you should have labeled those notes. Now let's try playing those notes on our trumpet. So these patterns are taking the notes that we've learned and putting them in sequence. So we get used to playing them in sequence. So that first one, measure 4, went E, D, C. So the valves are going to go E, D, C. Say that and move your fingers with me. E, D, C. It's going to make a sound. If you notice, these 3 notes are going down. So you see how they kind of have a downward direction? So we need to make sure that our sound goes from higher notes down to lower notes. So listen, this is what it should sound like. You play it with me. Ready? 31 E. So we played E, D, C. Now look at measure 5. In measure 5, we start on C, and then we go up to D, and then we go up to E. So we're going to play C, D, E. Say that and move your fingers with me. C, D, E. And we're going to start low and get higher. So make sure each note gets a little bit higher, and you see that on the page too. Ready? Go. Try it again. Make your sound match my sound. Ready? Go. And then in measure 6, we have a C, and then we skip up to E. So we're going to go C to E, like this. So jumping up higher. You try it with me. Ready? Go. One more time. Ready? Go. So practicing different patterns of notes is a really helpful way for us to get control of when we're playing C and D and E. So those patterns can help you in your practice. So far, we've talked about the location of the note and the pitch, or how high or how low the note is. And that's what affects what fingers we press down. But music also has, the notes also have length to them. They can be long or they can be short. And that pattern of long and short notes is what we call rhythm. So music is a pattern of sounds that occurs in time. And usually when we're making music, we have a beat. So this is a metronome keeping a beat for us. Beat, beat, beat. Feel that beat with your hand. Beat, 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 beat. So the music is going to happen with the beat. Now, we can have notes that are long, we can have notes that are short. Some notes might be only one count. So if I was to sing a note on ta, it'd just be ta, 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 ta. Every note would happen right on the beat. Ta, 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 ta. Sing that with me. Ta, 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 ta. So every note happens right on the beat. Some notes might be 2 counts. So then we would hold the note longer. Ta, 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 ta. You can hear how the note lasts for 2 counts. Some notes might be 4 counts. So then you would go ta for 4 beats. Let's do some 4 count notes together. Ready? Go. Ta, 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 ta. And you can see how we're holding the sound all the way through that. So how long or how short a note is also an important thing for us to understand. And that's where we're going to talk now about rhythm and our rhythm patterns here. So The shape of the note is what tells us how long or how short it is. So the location of the circle relative to the 5-line staff tells us how high or how low it is. So this is higher, this is lower. But the shape of the note is what tells us how long it is. So this note here, this is a quarter note. It gets 1 count. Each of these notes is 1 count. Ta, 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 ta. Each of those notes gets only 1 count. This note, where you just have a circle by itself with no stem coming up or down, that note is 4 counts. So we hold ta for 4 counts. These notes are open circles like this, but they have the stem like this. So these are called half notes. So these notes got 1 count. This note got 4 counts. These notes each get 2 counts. So we're going to go ta, ta on these and give them 2 counts. Here we have another 2 count half note followed by 2 counts of rest. Rest is just musical silence. So music is made up of high and low, fast and slow, louder, softer, longer, shorter, sound, silence, all those different variables of sound. So this is 2 counts of rest. So let's write down that these notes here each get 1 count. This note here gets 4 counts. These notes get 2 counts, and that this box means 2 counts rest. Go ahead and write that down. So that's what it should look like there for you. So these notes each get 1 count, 1 count, 1 count, 1 count, 1 count. This note gets 4 counts, we're going to hold it out. These notes get 2 counts each, 2 counts and 2 counts. This note also gets 2 counts, and then the rest here is 2 counts of rest. Okay? So if I was to go across this line and sing it on ta, let's sing it together. We'd go ta, 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 ta. Ta, 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 rest, rest. Ta, 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 ta. So we have that pattern of long and short notes. Let's try playing that using the note E, first and second valve, and let's play across that rhythm line together. 1, 2, ready, go. And the metronome that I have going on helps us keep our beat steady, so that way we're not speeding up and we're not slowing down. Okay, let's try that one more time, except this time let's play it on the note C. So we'll do open, down, low, okay, and we're just going right across. Every note starts with ta. We're not breathing and going, otherwise we get lightheaded. So air flows, and we use ta to start the notes, just like we sang it. Playing on C, down low. 1, 2, ready, go. So that rhythm line is a way that you can practice understanding how long and how short the notes are and getting used to all the different notes, E, D, C, and practicing a rhythm with that. Now, let's see how all that comes together into our song. So when we look at our song, Hot Cross Buns, you can see how we have our 5-line staff. We have our treble clef here at the beginning. We have our notes arranged into measures with the bar lines going across here. Okay. You'll see that we have half notes that get 2 counts. We have quarter notes that get 1 count, so that tells us about the rhythm. You can see how we have an E and a D and a C. So all these different things that we were talking about are coming together now. And so we're able to use all the information we understand about how music is written to decipher what's written here for us. So when we look at this song, One of the things that I would encourage you to do is use a 4-step process when you're examining a new song. Start by looking at the counting, then make sure you can say the note names, then make sure you know the fingerings for each of those notes, and then go through and play it. Count, say, finger, play. And doing those 4 steps is going to help you break it down so that it makes more sense and it's not overwhelming. So let's go through first looking at the counting for this song. So this note is 2 counts, this note is 2 counts, this note is 2 counts. And then we have a 2-count rest. So we go ta, 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 giving each of those 2 counts. Then we do the same thing again here. Ta, 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 rest, rest. Now we come to these notes. These are the 1-count quarter notes. Ta, 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 ta. So they're going to go by a little bit faster, and then the ending is just like the beginning. Let's try singing on ta, that line. Ready, go. Ta, 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 rest, rest. Ta, 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 rest, rest. Ta, 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 rest, rest. So hopefully that's making sense. That's the counting. Okay, the next step then is to say your notes. Step 2 is to say your notes. So we look at this, they say, well, what note is this? Is it an E, a D, or a C? So we're looking up here and we're matching with what we had at the top here. So we say, okay, well, this first note, oh, that's in the same place as this note, so it must be an E. So this is E, and then the second note is D. Again, it's just a matching game, guys. C. This is the same as C. So we're going to go E, D, C, and then we're going to rest. Then we do the same thing again. E, D, C. You can see how this note's in the same place as the E was. This note's in the same place as the D was. This note's in the same place as the C was. Okay? Then we rest again. Then we come here. We have these 4 quarter notes. We have to figure out, well, what note is that? That's that quarter note there. Well, this note is not the same as E. Nope. Not the same as D. Nope. That's the same as C. So this note right here is a C. C, 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 C. We have 4 that are the same. When you look at this one, they say, oh, that one moved up a little bit. That's a different note. Oh, that is D. Okay, so we have D, 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 D. And then we have E, D, C again. Okay, so let's go through and say those notes along with our metronome, keeping our beat steady. Say those notes. Ready? Go. E, D, C, rest, rest. E, D, C, rest, rest. C, 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 D, 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 E, D, C, rest, rest. So we've done count, we've done say. Now what we're going to do is finger those notes. So we're going to hold our trumpet the way we would normally hold it, like we're playing, but we're going to move our fingers on the valves. Okay? So we're going to go E, D, C, and move our fingers the way that they would go on the valves to help us get used to the coordination that we're going to need. Okay? So let's do that. Say those notes. Move your fingers through the notes while you say it. Ready? Go. E, D, C, rest, rest. E, D, C, rest, rest. C, 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 D, 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 E, D, C. Now that we've done count and say and finger, you should feel comfortable now being able to play it. Okay, and hopefully you have the control to not be too high or too low so that it sounds like hot cross buns. Think the song in your head while you're playing it, and that's going to help you control these notes to make them get the pitches that they should have. So let's try it together. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. more time, but let me just give you a couple quick cautions. Okay, notice that I did not ask you to write the letter names in on the song. Okay, I want you to use the information that you used up here to learn what these are. But if you go and you say, okay, well this is E, so I'm going to write an E over it. It's true that it's E, but we also figured out that this note was 2 counts. And so if you write the letter E over it and you look at the letter E, you're not going to know that it's 2 counts. You're only going to have half the information. So I want you to learn what these circles and lines and dots and all this stuff means, and that's what we're studying right now. So use your count, say, finger, play process to learn it without having to write all those letters in above each note. Also, even though you're probably going to play this song and have it memorized, don't just play it out of your head. Look at the notes so that your brain makes the connection between what you're playing and what you're seeing. Let's try it one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Rest, rest. So that's how the song should sound. And the great thing about learning to read music is that once you understand how all this works, you're able to take it and apply it to new things. So if you want to start looking at the next song, Au clair de la lune, you should be able to start figuring some of that out on your own. So good luck this week as you practice. See you next time.